I believe we are live, and I'm very happy to be with you guys, making sure there won't be an echo over here. I'm very happy to be channeling the Sirian blue light beings, and if you've been keeping up with the channel, they are these creatures that um, I've kind of felt have established contact with me, and that seem to be becoming in and establishing contact with quite a few people around the planet at this time. I still haven't figured out what to call them. I've been calling them the Syrian blue high ones, essentially because I get this, let's say, unlimited, unending pillar of light in front of me, and it is kind of similar to the pillar of fire if you've ever been to that heavenly place. So they seem much like almost funnels or tubes of bluish starlight. So we can get them to ask about that, and of course, with all the happy ambiguity of the English language, I called this transmission helping starlight, or they've kind of given me that. So it's of course they're going to look into why they're with us. And hi to everybody. So Saley, so good to see you, and Mandy as well, and Jana. And a thank you to Kevin, Sophia, Mandy, Saley's, Assen, Laurie, Suzanne, Patrice, and I think I seem to be forgetting someone, Carla, and I think that is actually the regular patrons, and you can support me over at Coffee. And you guys, I haven't received any questions from the regular supporters these last times, so I don't know if you're getting the notifications over there, but of course, feel free to submit questions in advance if you're supporting. And I think those are perhaps all the messages. As you can tell, I'm also feeling a little overwhelmed by all these energies, but I am very much looking forward to funneling them into some channeling and spending an evening of loving co-creation with you all. So thank you so much for your support. And May is so crazy busy, says Mandy. Yes, it's really been a crazy month energetically, and me neither. So I haven't received that many pre-submitted questions, and let's just see where it takes us. If you're here joining in live shoot, there should be ample time to get through everything. So without further ado, much love to you, everybody. And I think I'll ask them also to set a kind of a protective light parameter around us as we do this. So before we enter and they start speaking, I'll get them to do that. So cheers, everybody. A happy Sunday to you. Surrounded by 3 protective layers, expressed in high pitches, but in light, appearing as though they were protective shells, protective casings, surrounding you and radiating from your heart center. We are connecting to your heart center in this exchange. We are helping this heart center to grow and to connect to the fundamental balanced forces that underpin your experience. That is, as you think of this ascension, you may think that you are climbing upwards and onwards, but you are also connecting inwards. And from this inner core, you are expanding outwards. There is always a process of balance going on. Nothing in this lifetime will be escaped or avoided, but everything will be surmounted and understood, indeed loved into its proper place in existence. We have connected to you, human beings, we, the Sirian light beings. You can give us whatever name you would like, but you can give us this name, the Sirian light beings, as we are connected to the star Sirius, as we are connected to Starlight, and use this medium to transmit knowledge into your matrix of existence. Since these are our media, that would be a proper title for us. You could also call us the and then, of course, we know you're very fond of spelling things out in symbols, so that would perhaps be an OUIEAEA for those of you who enjoy the English language and spelling in it. So these are ways to approach us. You can approach us in many ways. We come here to amplify the heart connection. This is the way we encourage you to connect to us. And notice that you are helping this matrix then expand. You are helping Starlight grow. So you may sense your capacity to hold information, your ability to recall, your memory, and your ability to divine, to anticipate, and to feel, and to empathize, connect to others. All these are expanding, but they're expanding on a foundation of also being disturbed. That is, when you are discovering something new, it is hard to feel the outlines without also zigzagging over them. And this may be the process that you find yourself in now. So the image that is being transmitted into the head or the visionary capacity of our friend here is that of someone learning to sew on a sewing machine. And there you may sense that the stitches get all muddled, but they often get the pieces to fit and stick together. And this is what you're doing with the dimensional layers at this moment. So zigzagging a bit across them, weaving and bobbing, sometimes finding yourself immersed in the ecstasy of higher insight and connection, sometimes finding yourself dropping into confusion and despair. Isn't it wonderful to be living in this spiritual experience, this seesaw of ups and downs, of balancing and recalibrating? Let us discover that as we expand the heart space together helping this shining star, this essence of our being, expand and radiate its light outwards. Therefore, with love, with our deepest participation in your expansion, with our understanding of all you are and our acceptance, we come to you this day happy to assist you in your growth, in your expansion. Thank you, dear friends. I personally find them to have quite a beautiful energy. I hope you enjoyed that message too, guys. There's only 4 pre-submitted questions, so we're getting to the YouTube chat soon. And Sophia asks, I feel I'm healed and helped, yet at the same time attacked in a spiritual yet karmic relationship. Any advice? Oh, dear one, beloved to us, we are happy to connect to your heart this day. What we seek to lodge in it as an understanding, as a deep knowing, is that it has set itself right. It has adjusted its needle, and now, as a compass, your heart is steering you in the proper directions. We want you to know this. We want you to know that your heart is your guide in this life, and this means you can rely on it. So notice the strength it shows you in yourself by you engaging in these, let's call them ambivalent exchanges. That is, if you find yourself in relations that help you grow and expand, you may also find that this element of attack of which you speak becomes a presence. The reason it is summoned, or the energy that it is summoned from, is the fear, not necessarily in you, but also in the people that you are exchanging with. That is, you are essentially expanding the energetic boundaries of your being, your individual being, your shared human being, and you are creating and summoning something that's quite powerful, that's quite stirring in your lives. So this will partially, again, create these more porous delineations of your energy field, where certain, let's call them more negative entities, are then detectable. They are often already there, but they become detectable by this expansion of awareness. And this may lead to this sense of attack, that there are then negative unresolved energies in this shared buildup of experience, of exchange, that may explode or may express themselves. This can be challenging, but also know that you summon this then, as you also realize and point to, on a background of healing, of help, of expansion. And so these things are essentially also moving into your life to be seen, understood, and recognized. And you may sense that there is a discrepancy in your outlook, where you feel that you cannot quite resolve the conflict between, let's say, your preferred conscious outlook, that you want pleasant experiences, and then the spiritual outlook, that you also seem to summon a lot of challenges to your existence. But notice that it is because you challenge yourself that you have these ambivalent exchanges. It is much like the heartbeat, both an expansion and a contraction that you are experiencing. So allow yourself to step back whenever you feel it becomes pertinent. Allow yourself to also move in concord with these waves, with this heartbeat of your inner knowing that allows you to sometimes expand and connect, and sometimes also retract and reconfigure your boundaries and your understanding of where you are going and where you are coming from. So this is our encouragement. And we know your second question is to have a message from your guardian angel. And he speaks of this knowledge also flowering within you. That is, there is a type of celestial armor that you can don, that you wish to wear as you move onwards. It is like the pearly scales of a certain dragon companion, but these are things that you are coating your aura in. So you may sense that this transmission is aiming at you moving into a phase of consolidation. Let's call it protection, of deeper encasing. This corresponding to the exhale of the contraction of the heartbeat. So notice that when you are here, then relish in this type of more receptive, more passive stage or chapter that you have entered into in these weeks, and allow yourself to cherish what is being transmitted to you so you can receive it without hurrying and rushing onwards. Our love to you, our gratitude for this question, our blessings on your path. And then Kevin asks, could you please speak on how to best start a new project when overwhelm is at the tipping point of my current responsibilities in my present now? Sorry, guys, I just wanted to read the second one, but I will do them separately. So the first one goes again. Could you please speak on how to best start a new project when overwhelm is at the tipping point of my current responsibilities in my present now? We thank you for this question, dear one. And with love, we see your predicament here. And we relish reading what you put forward, because you pose this present now. And we understand that you humans, you are indeed in a present now that seems limited compared to ours. And then you describe this with a sense of overwhelm. You point to a tipping point. And so we enjoy seeing that it is as if there is a tightrope, as you humans sometimes call it, or maybe even simply a small flake of ice that you are stranded on, adrift in the seas, and you find it melting below you, and soon you will simply be submerged in the waters and you will have to swim. So we are using all these images to point to how you feel tension is at an all-time high. When tension arises in your life or in your bodies, in your systems, notice that it has a tendency to intensify until it then releases. So much as the rubber band that eventually snaps or anything similar. Notice that you can simply let things run their course and they will eventually settle themselves. Though usually when you human beings do that, you find that certain patterns actually stop to sabotage you. That is, if you just let life set itself right, you find that sometimes it produces unwanted effects for you. But, our dear friend, you are in a situation where what you are describing is indeed that you want to either remain on this tipping point That is, you feel that there is too much tension here. And this tension, it requires you to remain on point, remain standing. So as soon as you begin anything new, you will tip from this, you will knock the whole thing over. Now, this is really what you want. We are telling you this. You are free to do as you want. We do not have agendas in that way. But we are telling you that this is what you want. You want things to tip over. So notice that if you allow this intensity to become so much for you, it will simply tip over into a balance where you are no longer controlling it, but simply, say, gardening the chaos of your existence. And this will allow for you to then concentrate on something else. So if you concentrate on this new project, just let the other things pass and know that they will settle themselves, because you have already controlled them, set them on their course, allowed for a certain type of controlled momentum to establish themselves in them. But if you want to, then don't take on a new project, because you won't be able to hold this and then hold the tension, remain on point at the same time. So this is what we encourage you to do. Let the chips fall. Let this overwhelm, drive your life into a new type of openness. And our blessings on your path, dear friend. And the second question reads, could you speak on why at times we choose self-sabotaging to regulate oneself during the wild energetics of these times, as opposed to healthy ways to rebalancing? Well, yes. And with fear of coming off as critical of you sweet human beings, it is actually to show yourself the somewhat faulty logic or perception in what you are saying here. Because to us, we don't see this self-sabotage as necessarily unhealthy. So human beings have a tendency to feel that if things are smooth sailing, then it must mean that they have done something right. But to us, the idea is that you are challenging yourself. And indeed, the greater challenges you are facing, the greater capacity on a spirit level you are actually demonstrating to yourself you can hold. So this is the paradox, that the more trouble you are seeing in life, the more your soul essentially has to overcome. And of course, you find that then many people rather drown in this unconsciousness that is feeding them. But often you will find that this so-called self-sabotage is actually a healthy impulse. So a quite mundane example is, for instance, that we could point to the fact that depression, when it arises as a state of mind or a chronic state of despair within a human being, it seems negative, but it is essentially a signal from your higher self to address the fundamental issues, concerns, circumstances of your existence. And it might be very helpful for you to do this in what seems like a very unhealthy way. That is for somebody who is, for instance, very highly driven, but perhaps for the wrong reasons, for the reasons that they want to prove themselves to themselves and to the world. It might be healthy for them to spend 22 months on the couch eating potato chips and turning into a couch potato to learn a lesson about balance, for instance. So these are the frameworks that we see everything in. And that's why the simple encouragement that we so often offer, the way that you can approach this more angelic or eternal, higher dimensional understanding, is that you begin to compare yourself to yourself in wider time frames. So yes, of course, maybe you're not doing as good as you were last week when you felt you were on a high or an expensive period in your life. Right now you are consolidating, and that expensive period allowed you to see something that needed addressing. And that's perhaps why you're feeling a little out of it or a little energetically mismatched with the world in this week then. But if you then compare yourself to from 4 years ago, then aren't you in a place where you find you have radically expanded and kept up with the demands that life has put on you? So just know that you will keep doing that, and you will keep throwing yourself curveballs and making yourself the goalie of the challenges that your higher self shoots at you. So that is, again, notice that everything is in that sense a game that you play against yourself. And as you are someone who really enjoys game playing, we would encourage you to imagine a game that has no element of sabotage. We would encourage you to think of a soccer field where everyone has a ball, and then nobody needs to sabotage anybody. But the fun is also lost, isn't it? So have fun with the trip-ups, mishaps, and disasters in your life, and know to make new options out of old demands. Our love to you, our dear one. It's channeling usually makes me pretty happy, which makes sense. So good to see so many of you guys. Jana, very sunny evening, everyone. This time of year, yes, the sun is also. It's been very kind to us up here in the north. I hope it's the same wherever you are. Mandy, Salish, Tony Veritas. Good to see you, Jochen, Suzanne. Ines, sorry if I Senison, sorry if I mispronounced that. Long time no see. So let's get to some questions here, guys. And I think shoot, we should have ample time for everything. So let's just roll and see what Jochen here, what the Sirian Blue ones have to say to him. Oh, yes. We would like you to connect to the spirits of the land. That is, you may sense that your existence also plays out in what can be considered a high density area population-wise. That is, many people live on quite limited space where you live on the planet. And there you may sense that there is a type of re-enchantment in the landscape calling you forward. And who better to do it than those of you who are apt at connecting to energetics and to connecting to these secret mysteries of the land. So you may sense within the Rhine River, there are stories, there is a type of deity or spirit that lives in this river, and it is very willing to tell the stories of the land. There is also a type of mystical haze in the light, especially in the early morning hours in the months of August and September, that may call out certain experiences, recollections. So we sense that this might be a good time for you to begin to rise early and meditate with these foggy mornings. But this is past the summer. This summer invites you to connect to the land, to revitalize it, and to feel the power that is still there underneath the human cities, underneath the civilization. That is our message to you, dear Jochen, and we thank you as we transmit our love to you, dear one. I had I've kind of been having a slight German flip trying to refreshen it, so I had just the term Das Rheingold flashing in the back of my head, which kind of conjures up, you know, this medieval and pagan tradition up there. So good luck exploring that. And Suzanne says, "Hey, hi, Suzanne." And Jana asks, "Hi, light beings. I had a dream last night that I was getting a sweet kitten. Could you shed some starlight on its meaning?" There are several codes in this, dear one. So notice that you are attracting a certain untamed wilderness into your existence. That is, and you may find that in your life you have felt more drawn to the protective energy of the dog companions, the Sirian companions. That is, we that transmit knowledge from this star, we are also very, very engaged in this protective role. But you may find that this little kitten, it showed up because there is a type of tender playfulness, a type of untamed naivety within you that you have kept concealed, and that you are now ready to let loose, to allow into your life. So we would consider, and this may be something where the time frame for you will vary. That is, we sense that we are perhaps addressing something more approaching the end of your month of October this year, but that you may find that your life aligns in a way where kitten might be a companion that would be a happy addition to your home, and that would offer both you and the kitten and the cat that it will grow into, it will offer you many happy moments in years to come. Our love to you and to all sweet animals that walk on this blessed planet of yours. What's not to like about the kittens? If you don't mind, I'll just ask a personal question, because I saw a fox with her cub yesterday, and I've never seen a fox cub before, so it was quite spectacular. They literally crossed my path. I was out jogging, and then, you know, I stopped to catch my breath, and then there she was, and behind her was the cub. So that was just very special. So I just wanted to, you know, get their perspective on animal omens. And I know I'm always asking about this, but I just think it's so interesting. So I'll ask about the significance of meeting that fox cub, and about, you know, animal omens and coming across these sites in reality and in general. As you well know, dear friends, what you experience on the outside is a creation of your resonance. That is, your vibration simply creates a physical resonance that matches up with this fundamental quality of your existence. And so it is again this opening to new chapters, this rebirth, but also this nurturing that you are summoning into your life, that there is a resemblance of this mother's relationship to her cub in the way that you are attending to the sides of yourself that are, let's say, more fragile, more tender, more naive, and more newborn. So this is the energy of the mother who guides and protects and accompanies, who nurtures and assists, but also who sees to it that their offspring thrives and that they become able to make it away from home. Our blessings to you and to all beings. Our love. Sweet. And Celis asks, are you able to tell me which entity I'm most likely to connect with? Is it a Sirian blue light being? Probably one of my aspects. Well, at this point, we sense that is, if you are interested in connecting to, let's call us off-planet counterparts, you would find that the Yael civilization, they're asking us to pronounce it that way, is quite close to you in vibration. So that would be only a hop skip away if you wanted to attract a connection. We sense that there is a symbol of two triangles. Again, our friend here apologizing for not remembering the names in the Greek names used in English, but that these triangles would have 60-degree angles in all corners. Two of them will connect, and the top point of a lower one will connect to their connection point. So essentially you have 3 triangles connecting to a central point, one with its right side, one with its upper point, and one with its left point. This would be the contact symbol of this guide connecting to you. Her name that she speaks to us is Myrna. Myrna, that is, you might spell it with a Y-M-Y-R-N-A. This is the name that she's extending to us. And, well, she is then also saying that you may feel that there is a disconnection at play in your life, that you are wondering where it will take you. But this speaks to you mapping out things with this, let's call it counterpart collective, with this hybrid agenda that you are quite connected to. Within the wider energy of the Sirian star system and our energy, you will also be connected to certain aspects, though these are, let's say, more computational roles. That is, you will find that, for instance, within the star consciousness, you are fulfilling the role of placing certain reflection points in the proper places to each other, thereby making this prismatic effect. This would happen to correspond to what goes on the level of a brain cell within your present biological structures. We hope that this makes sense to you, as it is so evident to us, and we transmit our love to you and the greetings and invitations from the Yael civilization, and from this being, Myrna in particular, our love. Channeling. I've done this for quite a while, right? I still don't know where this information comes from. It's just it's quite fascinating. So good to be with you guys. And Tony Veritas asks, greetings, my beloved Sirian family. Greetings, my beloved Sirian family. Can you please tell me why I'm getting dreams about my cat Bella, as she appears to be in distress when I visit her in the Astral? Is she okay? Oh, our dear one, known to us, beloved you are, we would want you to connect to our home star, to the star Sirius A. You may sense that there is a special resonance for you with the small twin star that exists and accompanies us, but you may also sense that what is going on with your cat is that it is wanting you. Cats are companions. They are shamans. That is, they come here to join you and to allow for your spirit to be protected. That is why so many of you find yourselves surrounded by cats in times of crisis or isolation of spiritual growth. They are very powerful beings. And so she's trying to, in the way that she can, by signaling this distress energy, she's picking up on your signals and expressing it in her astral body. So she would want for you to care for yourself as you would care for her. She wants you to turn this energy of concern around towards yourself, because this is the energy and the love that she holds for you. This is her encouragement. And this, you may sense, is also hidden in her name, it being a type of interesting play on words on both beautiful and on the word for war. So you will find that Bella is also allowing you to reactivate your champion spirit. You have felt that this has led you astray, that your inclination towards confrontation has been something that has caused you in your life shame and grief. But you may find that there is a specific definition of a hero, and that is someone who uses their strength, their ability to fight in a scenario where it is necessary. Though they are unwilling, they will use their ability to break free, break out, to protect, defend, and to nurture. And so awaken your champion and notice that this sweet little animal, it is a battle cat that has summoned you to its side. Our love. I'm very sorry for the He-Man reference there at the end. If you were also a child in the 80s, you may remember the battle cat. So I thought that was just a very sweet image. And then Suzanne asks, question, blue lights, what role does vibration play in you helping the earth and dolphins, whales? Thank you. Oh, thanks. Super question. So what role does vibration play in them helping the earth and dolphins and whales? With gratitude, we receive this question. We sense that the heart of the individual, our friend here speaking, is also very grateful for the beautiful visions that it incurs. That is, notice your question speaks of vibration, and then it connects it to the dolphins and whales. You may sense this is an instinct, because we, from our star, we Sirians, we are very connected to the cetaceans. But notice what these beings, they do. Their echolation, their song, it is a type of prayer. It is a type of incantation, a mantra, a hymn, a sacred song. We mean this very literally. That is what you do, you human beings, when you sing, is that you set a frequency grid, and you do it so insistently especially if you get together and do it, especially if you harmonize and do it, well, you set this frequency grid in a way where anything that is of a lesser frequency is banished from that moment, from that situation. And this is indeed what you traditionally come together to do in situations of worship, be they processions, congregations, celebrations. Whatever you undertake, you essentially gather to make this shared configuration of reality a reality. You come together to create something that you can experience in a shared way. And so we have this special connection to the cetaceans because they uphold the sacred vibration of the oceans. And these again, they uphold the proper rhythms of the planet. So again, what we have announced, what other beings we are related to have announced, what other beings that may communicate to you through the same means have announced is that you have only just broken the surface of understanding what you can do with water, how water can be configured through intention and vibration. And so water can be blessed exactly through this vibration, through this song, through these hymnal invocations. And this is why we are also coming in your reality at this frequency, in this form, at this present moment, because the frequency grid was not amenable to us before this moment, but now with the frequency that is held by the cetaceans and by you human beings gathered here today, for instance, we are able to come into this space. We are able to connect, and we are able to expand this vibration even further, also using the beautiful gift of vibrancy that you were blessed with, this magic of speech and song. Our love and gratitude. And Senisen asks, I have the ability to speak light language. Can you tell me what I'm creating with that? Thank you very much. Yes, you are harmonizing your own grid. So you may sense that light language is a type of negotiation between the configurations of your local system of energy. It's what you call a body, a personality, a mind, a you. And then the wider system at large. So it's a way of trying to harmonize these patterns of light that flow through everything. So if you were to speak light language for, say, 20 minutes, you would find that you would become quite flustered. you would become quite overwhelmed. Many of you would pass out before that because the buildup of energy that you are summoning into your reality grid is quite potent. And what this energy does is that it wants to simply realign and harmonize your reality. And it often does so then by bringing up and beginning to reconfigure what is opposed to that. So find that when you speak this light language, you are reconfiguring your body, your mind, your personal grid, and allowing for the receptivity to higher spiritual energy, your higher self, your guides, to become clearer. You are in that way extending and polishing your antenna to extra dimensional messages, we could say, and you are helping to align the frequency grid of the planet at large. So with love and gratitude, we were happy to shed light on that. Our love. It's again one of these interesting coincidences where it seems like the questions and their order matches up. So thank you so much for the co-creation and beautiful questions, guys. So that was something on vibration. And then Susanne asks, I tried to connect with you, heard some beautiful light, high-pitched sounds, a song perhaps with healing. Are some of you living near your star? Yes. See, a way that you can intuit that you were connecting with us is that you are finding that these themes, these more effervescent expressions of our energy is also how you apprehend us. That is, notice that you sense us within this high pitch. It is again this frequency, this high vibrancy. Then sense that you connect us to Starlight. It is again this purifying light, this bright light that has reached you. And notice that, well, let's say, compared to sunlight, what is often the case with starlight is that, seeing as it has traveled light years to reach you, many of its, let's say, more volatile, lower spectrum frequencies cannot reach you. So you are receiving a purer instruction of vibrancy from Sirius than you are from your home star Helios. Of course, then we couldn't sustain plant life or biological processes, but we are communicating and connecting to you. Here we are addressing you personally, dear Susanne. We are communicating and connecting to you within this higher grid that you have built around yourself. So you may sense that there is almost a type of swimming pool, and that is a small ocean within an enclosed space, a type of sacred pond that you have built out of your reality, and that now you are attracting these Sirian energies into. This is a type of Atlantean pond. That is, there's much information connected to this that also speaks to these reawakenings of the Atlantean energies. And they, for instance, speak to you as one who was keeper of this pond again being a receptacle of knowledge, a type of receptacle of healing or medical knowledge. That is, in Atlantean times, you would also, as you are learning now, you would have stored information in water, in pools, that is in arrangements of water molecules that you could then use to unpack this frequency information again. So within all this, there are resonant instructions. Within these high-pitched sounds, we are transmitting information to you. We ourselves are located more in our star than close to it. We do not necessarily have any planetary home, except for the planets that we then connect to. That is, we are manifesting into the earthly grid right now, but using the Sirian Starlight as a homing frequency. So you could consider us 10th dimensional, that is more as an extension of the galactic awareness that's then using Sirius to beam into your system. And in case we need to materialize stronger energies or vitalize stronger passions within you, we activate certain energies through the planet Venus as well. So that is what we can share with you at this moment. Also extending our love, blessings, and gratitude. I'm just mapping out the questions here, guys. Sometimes Mandy asks, sometimes I wake to my heart beating so fast it feels my entire body and bed are shaking. Any insights as to why this might be? I've had my heart checked out medically and nothing seems to be amiss. Well, the reason this puzzles you so much is that there is a multiplicity of reasons flowing into these creations. Partially, you find that you have opened yourself up to spiritual energy, Holy Spirit. The Holy Ghost is flowing into your life, and you will find that it is quite common that this creates night stirrings, this creates physical responses, this creates quite violent stirrings of the energy apparatus in general. And you will find that the most helpful way to accommodate this is through expanding the capacity of your physical body to hold stirrings of energy. That is, as you have helpfully found out, your heart is healthy. And this means that if you train its capacity to be in high intensity states, that is, if you allow yourself to become agitated or work your heart, do any type of strenuous exercise for, say, 3 times a week, for instance, for a minimum of a half hour in these periods, you will find that this will actually alleviate these symptoms to quite a high degree. But then there is, let's say, personal energetic component. That is, there's a trauma component here where in your energy body, there is a shock that stirs you awake and then wants to reassure you when you wake in the night that everything is all right, is okay, that you can settle down. Here we recommend you soothing yourself. You can actually count your heartbeat, maybe put a finger on your neck and find that place where you can feel it. And then address your heartbeat like a friend and allow it to calm down. Feel it slowing down. And then there is the quite also complex system of, let's say, past lives returning to stir you awake. That is, we sense, for instance, that there is a theme in your incarnational trajectory, in your path of lives, that enjoys stirring up trouble. And what we mean by this is that you have, for instance, participated in many a revolution. It's essentially the idea that if there's a revolution to be had, there's a barricade to be built, or there's an aristocrat or a bourgeois swine to be shot at, you will essentially find yourself there trying to take out the redcoats or something similar. So we find you in many revolutionary situations, always on the side of the insurgents, always on the side that really wants to stick it to the man, so to speak. And notice that this is quite a rebellious, this is a strong energy. So this is an energy that's waking you in the night because it really wants to be seen and it wants to be recognized. And you may find that you're both quite drawn to revolutionary material that seems to have a stirring effect both on you and on other people, that may even make other people uncomfortable if you begin to talk about it in the open. But you may sense that this is an energy that you want to come to terms with. If you don't find a, let's say, constructive outlet for this positive energy, it invites in destruction in your life. And this is what it is stirring you awake to do. So with that, we encourage you to go find the good fight, fight the good fight, wherever you may find it. Our love to you, our blessings, dear friend. It was quite amusing, like getting that flash of different lifetimes of exactly the Russian Revolution, or I don't know, running around somewhere in the Rio de la Plata trying to get rid of the Spaniards or something. So I hope that was helpful, Mandy. And and I think I'll just make sure everybody has a question here. No, so I'm just trying to make sense of it, guys. I'll just roll through this. Jana asks, how would you talk to my body cells and chakras if you wanted them to be more balanced? I discovered once longer pains are gone, they don't come back. Is there a change happening? Gratitude. It's a very helpful question. So it would seem to us, dear one, that you have already discovered the language that they are speaking in. And so often, well, you know this personally, but so often humans, they blame the planet for not speaking your specific dialect of ape. What we mean by that is that the world is always talking to each other. The planet is communicating with each other. Species have different ways of exchanging whatever they need to exchange. Complex species such as yourself have complex languages. So do the dolphins. Even the ants have ways of exchanging and transmitting signals in order to regulate the flow of the hive and the behavior that's conducted there. So your body is much the same way. It simply speaks to you often in discomfort, in pain, in upset. And so what you can do is that you can look for the opposite vibration and then transmit it to it. And if you want to, of course, you can express this in a sound. So let's say our friend here, we're using this local body as it makes for an easy subject. Let's say our friend here is often feeling some chronic tension behind his right eye and in his temple. Well, intuitively, there would be an opposite vibration to this. He could simply transmit this opposite vibration into this sense, this discomfort that he feels. But he could also try to express it in tone. Then he can have that tone transmitted into the central part of his palm and then put it where it belongs. So he also transfers it haptically. In that way, the system balances itself out. It finds and attains a balance. If you want to, you can, of course, also personalize whatever is upsetting you. Ask what it wants to tell you and what you can do to make it go away or make it feel better. And it will also tell you what you need to do. So talk to your body in the intuitive language that it speaks. It is a language of love. Like all communication, it speaks of the joy of connecting. Blessings. Oh, and they didn't answer that thing with there's a change happening, but there is kind of a change happening. And again, like if you resonate with the stuff we do on this channel, you know, in all likelihood, you kind of connect with these far out things, which means you are kind of on this energetic path, right? And that means there's a change happening. So it's always very good to have affirmed, you know, when these kind of chronic pains and things that crop up actually change for people out there. Thank you for sharing, Jana. And Salish asks, what message have you or my higher self and guides for me? And then he also asks if they're the same being as the Sirian blue-white beings that are being channeled by John Ryan, and if so, what is his connection with them? The message at the moment, dear one, is to allow for the spiral to settle, to allow for the storm to grow quiet, to allow for the seas to become calm before you venture out and begin to undo the damages, or even begin to set sail for new places, begin new projects. That is, allow yourself for a moment of patience. Allow yourself for a lull within this expansion, within this wave that you are riding, because there will soon enough be much for you to do. Yes, we are aware of this John Ryan of which you speak. The beings he connects to. Well, this may seem highly complex to you, but they do represent a slightly different aspect of our energy. So yes, you could say we are the same beings, but it's the idea, when do humans begin to, or cease to be humans? When do you become Starlight? When do you become a collective? And what kind of energy is being honed from this? So rather than going into what connection you may have that is already established, try to question what signals that are already transmitting an invitation to our energy. That is within you. There is something embedded. There is a type of sacred knowledge, a small little melody that can be hummed, and that will then attract this starlight of sacred knowledge to be unpacked, to flow into your existence. Have fun with that. We await your call, our love, and many blessings. I felt that was a very playful response. Like, I felt like they really wanted to reach out to you. So if there is some kind of vibrational invitation you feel like extending to them, they'll definitely move right in, was my impression of it. Well, they're pretty fun. I feel I'm much enjoying connecting to them. And Yana asks, what's the antidote to resistance of new yet unknown experiences? A big thank you. Isn't resistance wonderful? Resistance is the spice that makes the trek up the mountain so worthwhile completing. So notice how unhealthy it is for a human body to find itself in a state of weightlessness for too long. Notice how unhealthy it is for you to not feel the natural resistance of gravity on your bodies. Notice how you lose touch with the basic textures of reality, if you don't find that it is opposing you. So this is the idea that you also need this resistance to feel you have a sense of overcoming. So our encouragement is, and notice that this is what we are generally encouraging you to do this day. Our encouragement is to focus on the opposite of this resistance. That is that there is an opening, an overcoming, an excitement, a curiosity, titillation, we could say, about the uncertainty, about the unexpected that's on the other side of this resistance. And this is really worthwhile. So overcoming resistance, either in you or in other people, is very worthwhile. We would, for instance, point to you that, well, an interesting feature of you as a social species and the way you interact with each other is that many of you seem to place a specific value on overcoming the resistance of someone else. That is, if you are able to obtain the affections of someone who may not want it to give them to you right away, or that you considered unattainable, they're very valuable to you. And this is simply how you work. You enjoy getting things that are hard for you to get at. So think of it as actually an enjoyment, something that makes life full, gives it density, gives it quality, rather than just making it an instant free-for-all. Resistance, it is what makes you grow. And we enjoy assisting you in that. Our love to you, dear ones. But hey, you need to, guys, always remember, it's just I'm getting a few cryptic messages or questions here. So, just from, also for the sake of other viewers, remember to put in some details if you can. So Braden here, for instance, asks, what angels in energy is there at the vortex in St. Augustine? And I assume St. Augustine is some place in Texas, maybe somewhere in the Americas, and that's about as much, right? But of course, I can tune into it. But please, the more details you can give, the better. But let's see what they say. Yes, we do understand why the confusion may have arisen in our friend here. That is, we sense that the semantics applied to this question, the words are very confused. They do not necessarily apply to any reality that's very clear to us. So there is the idea that there is a vortex of energy, And within that vortex of energy, there should be certain angels. Well, notice that angels are an aspect of every creation. So within every subatomic particle, there is an aspect of it that is essentially angelic. That is, it's governed by sublime, serene placement within the divine consciousness. And so the question of which angels preside here? Well, the angels that govern this vortex. And well, if there is an energy vortex here, you should be able to feel it. So go there and let the angels speak. Our love, the love of the angels, it reaches out to you. Okay, no further questions. It's in Florida. It's the oldest city in America. Okay, I think we are cutting it. We are coming up. I don't think I can. I'm getting a little hazy here. So let's. So I'll pick and choose for the questions, but and prioritize supporters, of course. But Mandy asks here, any personal messages for me from your higher perspective or that of any of my guides or angels that will best serve the highest good of my soul? Here it is again, returning to this image of Atlantis. Here you are stealing from one of these sacred libraries, or stealing is perhaps not the term. Here you are claiming sacred, secret knowledge. That is, you represent an order. It is quite old. It is connected to certain ongoing patterns in the collective. It is rebellious, and it is sometimes known as the shining ones, the illuminated ones. It has certain different names. But here you are back in this Atlantean lifetime, claiming this crystal from this particular library. This crystal that you are claiming, it holds the knowledge of how to open the energy shields of the city. And so you may sense now that the work that you are looking into doing, it is this energy shield work. It is you learning to shield the places that are necessary, but also to break the shields that have been put in place where they should not be. So there is Promethean drive within you. There is a drive to steal the light and the power from the powers that be, and to bring it to wider humanity, to heal, to liberate, and to empower. Go forth and explore, conquer, and share. Our love to you, dear one. Like these Atlantean visions are really coming through very strong. It is as if that they're very connected to that particular message. So I'll just I think I can make it to, yeah, no further questions, but I think I can make for those of you who haven't had your questions answered, we can get through them. I had no questions answered, we can get through them, so everybody gets a question answered. So Angel Wings asks, I seem to resonate with the color blue a lot, blue unicorns, and see myself as a blue angel. Is there a connection to the Sirian blue light beings directly to me then, or is it different? Yes, dear one. Well, we are somewhat connected, or especially connected to this frequency grid. That is, you may sense that the frequency grid that you connect to your guides, to these higher dimensional beings within, it is within this blue starlight spectrum. And this is also where we connect. So you have stars in your eyes, we could say. And this is very blue. This is very strong. This is also something that's connected to the refinement of emotions. And you may want to invite in red playmates for your blue companions. So that is that if you would help us also to connect to the volcanic vitality of the planet by you also connecting to nature, to the strong forces in it, we would be very grateful. We would be very happy. Our blue friend, our beloved one, do not feel that we bring you the blues, even though we also frolic in starlight. Our love, dear one. That was a cute one. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, I'm getting a little just by this high vibrational energy blown through. It's always quite amazing doing these sessions. And Radha asks, hi, do they have a message for me on my next steps in my personal and spiritual life? Thank you. We are getting an image. This is being transmitted from, say, your guides, your energy field, your higher self, but it speaks to, it has to do with blue grapes growing on their vines in winter. What's being transmitted to you is that you may find that the wine that you're making, using an image here, but the thing that you're looking to harvest from your life, it's actually something that may have required circumstances that seem to dire for it to actually come about. So in a sense, there has been a crisis, a sense that, well, the harvest had failed, you had to start over. But what we are sensing is that it's actually this very fine, delicate wine where you had to leave the harvest out to get frostbitten, to actually experience unkind conditions in order to bring in that sweet, refined juice that you are making and that you are looking to serve yourself. And now is the harvest time. Now is the time to go out and pick those grapes that have also been refined by the frostbite, by the unkind winds of winter. In love, our love. And I'm very happy about okay, so sorry. It's because Anne is asking, and so is Radha for healing. So I think we'll just ask them here to do healing here at the end. So we only have a question from Magnet. And I saw, yeah, that was why I was so confused. I only read the bottom part at first. So the first part is, help me with my perpetual motion device, please. Now I get it. And then it says, top spins counterclockwise, grounding wire clockwise. So I just read the second part, top spins counterclockwise, grounding wire clockwise. I thought, what is this? Perpetual motion device. Let's see what they say. Top spins counterclockwise, grounding wire clockwise. Yes. So our sense of it here is that you are intuiting correctly and that it is the top part that you would want to spin counterclockwise. This essentially has to do with these motions or how they align with the rotation of your planet. But what you would want is a type of, let's call it a destabilization joint, a type of ball bearing in the middle of these two elements that produce the centripetal and the centrifugal force. That is, in the middle, there should be a type of ball bearing that allows for this unsteadiness to be transmitted and then translated into the rotation. So either if the momentum is being brought into one or the other, it should have that is the momentum that begins this construction of this perpetuum mobile, this contraption. It should have a type of bearing that can rotate its energy so that it allows for it to be perfectly circulated. We hope this is clear from the words that are being transmitted. And we sense that this is something that you are guided to, guided in, and very capable of both playing around with and making an effort of. Therefore, our love and our gratitude for this creation. Beautiful. Thank you so much for all the sweet and loving words, guys. So I'll bring in some healing, both for Anne, who asks, and Hussein asks, please heal my body, thus preparing me for ascension. I'm full of appreciation and gratitude for your attention. Very, very sweet, and rhymes. That's also appreciated. And then Radha also asked for healing. So let's get some healing. Yes, we extend our gratitude to everyone here, but also for this prayer, this intention that is brought forward by dear Anne. She invites us to prepare her and you all for ascension through healing vibrations. We will remind you that this is happening spontaneously, automatically. We are but resonating with and expanding on a vibration that is growing within you. You have already crossed the threshold. You are already walking into the dawn. With that being said, let us together invite in the light and praise this dawning day. In the horizon, new suns are rising, along with the one you know, along with the moon, greeting the rising sun as it departs from the sky and gives way to the light. Along with these heavenly bodies, there are new and unknown stars in the sky. They shine brighter. Their lights approach you. You see more of it. Open to it, it greets you. And with the ancient knowledge of who you truly are, you feel this certainty of connection. You feel this fondness for all living things, for the pulsating, beating life that surrounds you, that flows through you, that comes to you from the stars, and that arises from your innermost core, connecting to the beat of the world, to the beat of the wildlife, of this unbound, unending existence, of this universe, of shared love. They took off. That was awesome, guys. I really loved that. I still have a hard time pinpointing the vibration. It seems like very pure, pleasant, wonderful. I really appreciated it, and I hope it resonated with you. That's kind of my sense of it. And thank you for all the loving vibes, for being here and your support and everything. So I'll see you around, and there'll be a live stream next month and everything. So have a wonderful Sunday over there, out there, and much love to you, everybody.